Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode. You are the masterpiece, and life sometimes has some obstacles for us. So we
Mhm.
apologize for coming late. And that's the thing with the life, right? It's not like you pre record something and then you show up. So whoever was waiting for this episode, we again just saying that we are late. But we are here. We are here with you in the studio. And if you are tuning in for the first time, my name is Irina Portnova, and I am a manifestation star because I help people to manifest whatever your heart desire with ease and grace and do it consciously and with fun. And I'm here today with Lisa Triggs, who is my guest. And Lisa, can you just tell a couple of words about yourself?
Hey, thank you. And nice to see you again. And thank you for having me. So, I am the menopause queen. I
Mm-hmm.
have written a book about my journey about menopause, and now I've released a journal and a travel journal that are specifically for women in menopause. So, I'm on a mission to help guide women through a better menopause journey using mindset through self love.
I love it. It's so awesome. And that's exactly what the topic for today's conversation is: self love for women in menopause. So let's just dive in and tell a little bit about what menopause is, because I'm sure not everybody knows. Women who are in that stage, yes, but everybody else might be, What is it? What is it all about?"
Well, menopause is that stage, where women reach. It can start as early as 35. For women, it's called perimenopause. There are three stages of menopause: perimenopause, menopause, and then postmenopause.
Mm-hmm.
So, peri is the initial stages, which can last for years, unfortunately. But that's when we start to feel those body changes. You still might see a few body changes, and your estrogen slowly starts to drop. Menopause, full menopause is when women, stop our cycles altogether, and that can last for they say a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's called post menopause, where your levels start to creep up just a little bit more, but you're not quite fully back where you were, and they consider that post menopause. So, what's really the difference between menopause and post menopause? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the I or let's put it this way. I have not met a woman yet who has stopped having every one of her symptoms in this post menopause, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
There are still some things that seem to linger on for years and years and years. Sorry, ladies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. So walk us through what exactly is happening with woman when she hits these menopause stages, and how important it is to recognize it, be self-aware, and how can we do our best to stay well in these stages. And obviously we'll talk about self-love.
So and for every woman, every woman's journey is different. Some women don't have any issues whatsoever. Others have few, and some have a lot. Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
I was a person who had a lot. I suffered from mostly the depression side of things. So that wasn't the funnest, but I've come through the other side now, feeling much better. So what we can expect is some weight gain, uh, some moodiness. For women who are starting peri, you may start to spot. And eventually, when you start full menopause, we get memory issues, lack of focus. There could be some mental health issues as well. Like I said, depression. There's like a kinds of crazy physical things that have happened, from electric shocks to, of course, the hot flashes, the weight gain. And there's some really interesting things that can go on sometimes, depending on your case. And it doesn't seem to be, um, to my knowledge anyway, as of yet, how one woman would have a easier time than another, whether it's sociological, lifestyle, stress levels. But one thing is for sure, stress does for sure affect your symptoms. The more you're stressed, the worse the symptoms seem to be. And if you can reduce that stress, which is what I help to do, then you see the improvement in symptoms. And one of those ways to help reduce that stress is to remind ourselves to love ourselves no matter what, no matter what's going on. Going within yourself and remembering who you are during this time, because many women get lost, in the symptoms. Um, Remembering who you are inside and loving
Mhm.
yourself first can really make the journey so much better and so much easier.
Mhm. I love what you share. So, can you please give us some tips, some tools? How would people start? How women would start to take care of them better?
First of all, you want to make sure that you're put in place a little bit of I'm going to call it a movement routine, not a workout.
Mhm.
I'm going to call it movement because during this time we don't want to stress our bodies too much. That's one thing that happened to me. I was doing a lot of cardio, but nothing was happening. And it turned out what I really need to do was more strength training to help build my muscles, keep my muscles strong. Um, Help me not, with osteoporosis in the future, all that kind of things. So one thing is move your body with, using um, weight training and walking, not running, walking. uh,
Mhm.
Watch what you're eating. And we can't expect to go through this phase of life and not make any changes whatsoever to our lifestyle, which I think a lot of people would like, but unfortunately, that's it's just not the way it works. Things like caffeine, which I know who wants to live without their coffee in the morning,
Mhm.
caffeine can make the symptoms worse. Particularly, it triggers hot flashes, and be mindful of what you're eating. More whole foods. Some people like to reduce their carbs. Others say, make sure you eat your carbs. You just have to find what works for you in the balance. I do know that making sure you have enough protein helps with this as well. Doing that as well as the weight training will help you with your sugar levels as well. So anyone who is struggling with that as part of their symptoms, doing this weight will help balance that as out, as well as help us produce our own hormones, happy hormones, dopamine, all that kind of stuff, which helps the overall sense of well-being. So
Mhm.
those are a couple things that we can start right off the bat to do, make sure you be aware of. And that mindful thinking, we can all get caught in the rabbit hole of negative thinking. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I've gained so much weight, right? I just feel miserable. I'm tired all the time. Well, you know what? Recognize that. That's a very important step. If you're recognizing that, oh my gosh, that's not loving on yourself, right?
Mhm.
Not loving on yourself. And that's when it's time to take a step back and say, okay, you know what? I need to take time for myself, maybe journal, and remind myself, hey, I am awesome. And uh, um, meditate, calm our body down, and
Mhm.
just remind ourselves that we are amazing and that you need to love yourself no matter what you look like,
Mhm.
what symptoms you're having. Just remember who you are inside, and you can start from there and build it.
I love it. So, how about answering that question when the women begin to see that menopause, some of them as there is a loss? How can we empower these women? Talking that this is actually empowering transition.
Being recognizing first of all, medically go visit your doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do the blood work, find out, okay, I'm in perimenopause. My estrogen levels, my um, progesterone levels, they're starting to decrease. So that's where you can start this proactive behavior, so to speak, right away. Be mindful of what you eat. start moving your body, start weight training, um, or resistance training, a little bit right away. These are all proactive things that the sooner you start, the better experience, the better you'll be prepared mentally and physically and emotionally, for that matter, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to handle the transition as it comes up next. And that's the whole goal, is really to, you know, um, make women aware as soon as possible that, hey, start this as soon as you can, to be able to make the journey so much more enjoyable. And that's a key word too, make the journey enjoyable. So let's remember that it's not all in the dumps and horrible. The way we think about things is the way it's going to come out, right? Our thoughts become things. So let's remember that this can be an amazing time. It can be a beautiful journey if we're going through it, loving ourselves and having the right mindset about the journey.
Mm-hmm. I love what you said. And let's talk a little bit about, like the passion and the intimacy. How is it shifting, and how to again increase that aspect of our life?
Intimacy. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's again different for everyone, depending on where your symptoms at.
Mm-hmm.
I did experience this, and let me just say that all of this, what I'm saying, is through my own personal experience and what I
Mm-hmm.
have learned along the way, um, and research that I have done, um,
Mm-hmm.
about the topic, through my book, and then, for my self-love journals and things like that that are geared
Mm-hmm.
specifically for women in menopause. But um, we need to, um, be open and honest with our partners,
Mm-hmm.
right? And intimacy has many different levels. You know,
Mm-hmm.
their intimacy can just be, honey, I just, can you just hold me today?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling quite myself. Can we just, you know, cuddle and that kind of thing? And of course, if you're experiencing some of the physical symptoms that go along with this time, see your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And, there are, if you choose that route, medications, of course, that can really help. Many women decide on hormone therapy. So, that's always a plus. Excuse me. But we want to remember that, for some anyway, I should say, hormone therapy, hormone replacement therapy, or known as HRT, doesn't eliminate every symptom.
Mm-hmm.
It may help, but it doesn't relieve any symptoms. So keeping all these other things in mind, moving your body, having your good mindset, remembering to love yourself. It's the full package, whether you choose to go on medication or not. And that's the same for the intimate part. Um, there is estrogen. I'll say it, vaginal estrogen, if you need it. you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, One thing that worked for me tremendously was coconut oil, just pure, not the liquid, because it is antibacterial. You can use it every day if you need to, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. Because again, like any other medication, there are some side effects that come along with I believe it's, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's called Vagifem, which, and just so you know, again, this is through my own personal experience. I did go that route. I was on
Mm-hmm.
Vagifem, and that caused me other issues because of the side effects, frequent
Mm-hmm.
infections and things like that. So I went
Mm-hmm.
to my gynecologist and said, okay, what else can we do here? And she's the one who actually said, you can try coconut oil. It's a natural substance. You can use it
Mm-hmm.
every day. It has antibacterial properties. And since I started doing that, which is almost 2 years ago now, let's just say everything is a lot better.
That's awesome. I love it. Thanks so much for sharing. Lisa, I have another question because, like a lot of women kind of not only lost, but they feel like, the life is, ending for the cycle for them. How can women during this stage step into the leadership and wisdom and mentorship roles during this time of their life?
I believe that finding the right community can be
Mm-hmm.
of big help, and being around like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that, again, is from my own personal experience that helped me tremendously. And
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing, because I was initially in a group that was specifically for women in menopause.
Mm-hmm.
And I quickly discovered that it actually was not where I wanted to be, because a very large, I won't say everyone, but a majority of people were talking negatively about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for help, right? Looking for help. Here's what's happening to me. This is absolutely awful. That kind of thing, right? So I found myself, actually, because I was going through my own transformation, right, through my own
Mm-hmm.
work. I found myself wanting to help them and say, have you tried this? Have you? I actually said, have you tried thinking differently about it? Have you tried journaling? Have you tried
Mm-hmm.
moving your body? Have you tried, this and that kind of thing? So that's where I knew I needed to find something else. So I did find a different, just supportive community
Mm-hmm.
of just like-minded people. And
Right.
we don't talk about menopause. It's just your like-minded people. For me, that was the difference. Menopause became secondary, and I was able to take the inspiration, the support I was getting from people who, wanted to think differently about this, and
Mm-hmm.
spur that inspired me to want to feel better myself and to do all these other things to make myself feel better. So in turn, I've started my own private Facebook community,
Mm-hmm.
or page anyway, and it will soon be a community for this purpose, for women who are in a menopause that would like a supportive um, platform to talk
Mm-hmm.
about menopause. And once we get it out and say, this is what's happening with me, if it's initially negative, then we can say, okay, you know what? Here's the support to be able to get you to unleash your inner queen, to live your best life, and think, starting by thinking differently about it. Be around people who aren't talking negatively about it anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just step by step, you know, get just live your best life, be your best you, beginning with loving yourself.
I love it. I love it, Lisa. And again, the power of the community, right? And it's awesome that right now in the digital world, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you're surrounded with. You can always tap into the communities of the people who are going through the similar experience, and you can always find the support, the love, and that extra boost of happiness. So
Mhm.
definitely, Lisa, you are doing a great job connecting all these women and guiding them. Any final tips that you wanted to give to our audience?
I think that um, the most important thing, the final a tip that I would have, is to just start this journey, any journey really,
Mm-hmm.
just always remember that it is all about you. You
Mm-hmm.
always have a choice in what you do, the way you think, the way you act, all that. You always have a choice
Mm-hmm.
to decide,
Absolutely.
is this going to be good for me, or am I going to get swallowed up and let it suck me down?
Mm-hmm. And
So,
I love it because, like if we are looking at the, like the news, it's always, like menopause associated with something negative. And it's nice to be connected to this community where your mindset is shifted, and you are seeing there are so many great things out of it. It doesn't
mhm,
have to be like the end of, like some life cycle. And it doesn't mean that everything is now, like dark.
yeah,
Actually, there is a light in every darkness if we choose to find it. Like you said, it's all up to us to choose. And again, with every
mhm,
decision that we are making, if we want to be a part of the community, if we want to learn more, if we want to grow with that, we know that we can step into our power and create. everything what we desire. So it's only the stage, it's only the season, it's not the sentence. And thank you
I
so
love
much
that. I
for,
love that.
yes.
So it's
You know,
easy, not a sentence. I love
yes,
that.
not
Many,
a
yes, because
sentence.
that is so profound of you to say that,
Hmm.
because
Right.
many women think it's due, or I mean, it
Hmm.
is, that it is a sentence. It's the but it's all the way we perceive it. It's all the way we think
Absolutely.
about it, um, and that's initially it, really, and then the way
Hmm.
you think about it, and then the way you're going to act about it. What are you going to do about it?
Absolutely. Yes. Love our conversation. Reach out to Lisa if you are in that stage and you are seeking for the community. And thanks so much, Lisa, for coming today, for joining us, for having this powerful conversation. And good luck with everything. And I see everybody on the next episode.
Thank you so much
Bye.
for having me again. Talk to you.
Yay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.